Okay, so the first thing first, when you are building website is to have a good understanding of what you want to build. If you want to build a website for, say, a school, the way you build it will be different for you want to build for a business. Though they might have like similar data, like you'd want to have about us, you'd want to have something like contacts. For a company website, you might want to have services. School might not have services. Instead, it might have departments and things like that. So you need to have a good understanding of what you want to build, who you are building it for before you build. So then every website, every project you build should have its own data on its own. So we are going to have a folder for each project that we are going to be building. So if I want to build a website for, let me say, FUNAB, I want to build a website for FUNAB, I'll create a folder for it separately. Then if I want to build for, say, Yabatech, I'll create a folder for Yabatech. If I want to build for FPI, I'll create a folder for it. So just like that. So now we would start from scratch. Then we are going to do some setup. All right, so the first thing you need to do, let me just move this guy here. So the first thing you need to do is to install this guy, Visual Studio Code. It is very easy to install regardless of your PC type. So if you are using Windows or Mac or Linux, just go to um, your Google or any platform you are using and search for install VS Code. So just like this, then you click on it. So this is for Windows. If you click on this, you will be able to see it would automatically detect your PC. So if you are using Windows, so you just click on it, it will install. If you are using Mac, you click on it. So these ones are for Linux users. So VS Code is called an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So it is where you actually cook your project, where you build your website and the likes. So it's just like saying footballers, they play football on, they play football on the field, they play football in a stadium, but you as a developer, this is your own stadium, your IDE. This is your kitchen. This is where you are going to cook your code. All right. So once you install it, it is very easy to open. Just open it. Okay. So I have installed it here, so I don't need to install it again. But you can just go through the process. It's very easy. Just click on this guide, any of these, depending on what system you are using. So after you've installed VS Code, so you would want to install some extensions. So the extension that I will be using here is Live Server. I have a lot of extensions installed here, but we don't need to worry about that. So you install Live Server. Okay, so this is Live Server. So what Live Server does is it lets you test your website immediately. It's automatically, okay, let's not go there yet. So let's continue. So let's create a folder for a project. So just like I mentioned, every time I want to work on a project, we create a folder first. So I'll just create a new folder and let's call it Cody December. All right, so let me just open it. So you can drag it inside your VS Code like this. And depending on your setup, you can just open the folder and you can say open with code, just a little bit. Okay, so you need to understand everything that is happening here. So you need to understand everything that is happening here, right? So the first thing is this part here, we call it the Explorer. This part here, we call it Explorer. So what it does is it lets you know the files you have in your project, the ones that are open, the ones you've edited, and the likes. So this one is search. It will help you search. If you want to search for content in your website, say you want to search for a text, so you use this guy. So this one's the extensions that are installed, so you don't need to worry about this too. Okay, I think this one is comes with VS Code, just one, but we don't need it. So this one is where you manage your extensions. So extensions are like libraries, or let me say packages that you can add to your VS Code to make your work faster and much more better, much easier. All right, so I think those ones are enough. This here you can do settings and the likes. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is to create a file inside this guy, which would be our HTML file. Now every HTML file ends with .html, .html. So we call those dots something something extensions. So just like you have for images that ends with .png, dot jpeg, jpeg, dot jpg, and the like. So every website or every HTML file ends with dot html. So I'm going to call it index.html. Now this index here, the name, why did we name it index.html? So index is the first item the browser will look for in your folder. Do you get? So if you have a folder, the first thing the browser would look for is this index. Please let me know if you can hear me. You can just, someone can just say a word. Oh, okay, all right, thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, all right, thank you. So, just like explaining, so this index.html is the first file the browser will look for. Now, this browser, everything you see in a browser is actually created with HTML. This guy, the behind the scene is running on HTML. Everything you see is running on HTML. Now, the browser, HTML itself is like a language, though it's not a programming language, but let's see it as a language. You know, we have people that speak English, we have people that speak Igbo, we have people that speak different kinds of language. Now, if I am seated here now, and there's someone that speaks Igbo beside me, and they cannot speak English. We cannot, you cannot speak English, I cannot speak English as well. We will find it difficult to communicate. So we will now need someone that can um, translate what I am saying to him, translate what he's saying to me. So like someone that will be in between. Now, we as humans, we speak English, Yoruba, whatever language you speak, but the computer has its own language too, zeros and one. That's the language of the computer. We call it machine language. Now we we can now send some instructions to your computer or to your browser that okay, when you see this, this is what it means. So your browser is now acting a as an interpreter, a translator between your code and the users. Now let me show you something so you have a good understanding. I want to view the source code of this website, this page that we are seeing. So this is the source code. This was built with HTML. As you can see, document type is HTML. You see HTML. So all of these things that you are seeing here, they are built with HTML basically. Without HTML, you cannot do anything else. Even if you want to say, okay, you are very stubborn, you want to deal with JavaScript, you still write HTML inside. So as you can see, everything is built with HTML. So the HTML is the building block because you cannot build house, you cannot add a door if you don't have a house. Where will the door stay? You understand? You cannot paint what doesn't exist. So that one. Then this, all of these jargons, if you are looking at, if you are seeing this for the first time, you might be like, Lily, what is this? This is jargon. So all of these jargons, this browser, you know, I'm using Google Chrome, you can use any other browser. It will now say, okay, this guy script, okay, this is what this person wants, okay. It will now perform the operation. Okay, this guy is saying this is an anchor tag. Okay, this is a link. Okay, make I put the link. I'll just put the link there. Now, what it does is that you give it a command. It's like you are telling someone, jump, they will jump. So now you are giving your browser command that, okay, whenever you see this is what you want to do. If you have a baby and you tell a baby, clap, first time she might not understand, or he might not understand. When you do like this, clap, okay, she'll be like, okay, this is clap. So the next time you say clap, she understand, okay, this is clap. If you now go to her and tell her jump, and you expect her to clap, she will not clap. So it's the same thing here too. We have to respect the contract. I'll call it a contract, because we've already told you that anytime you see this this is what you want to do. Anytime you see this this is what you want to do. You have to respect it. So you that you want to now do this this is called unordered list. If you are now saying you want to use your own as ULL or UNL, it will not understand it. You have broken that contract, so it will not work. So you have to go through with that contract. I hope you all understand. So let's write our first HTML code. So in this index.html, I'm going to start with this guy. I hope it's not okay. Yeah. So don't mind this. I'm using this package that an extension rather that automatically fills in code for me. It's like it's to read my sense. Okay, this is what this guy wants to do and do it for me. So like I mentioned, extension make your work faster and easier, but we will not be using it at least for now, or most extensions for now. All right, so now what this guy does is that he's telling us that the document type is HTML. Now it must start with this exclamation mark. It must start with this exclamation mark. So let's say document type is HTML. Now in HTML we have things that we must know. We have tags. Then we have types of tags. We also have elements. So if you have a good understanding of these things, it will be very easier for you. Now, tag is anything that starts with a lesser than sign and ends with a lesser than sign in HTML. Now, tags are like commands. They are like instructions. Once you tell a child, stand up, or you tell anybody, stand up, that stand up, see it as a tag, because you are telling him stand up. The person will, okay, this is what you want me to do, to stand. Okay, I will stand. You don't have to think about it for long because you are used to it. If I tell you, okay, sit, clap, you already know what you want to do. So it's the same thing here. Once you give it an instruction, say do this, it will do it for you, unless it is not right. So if I can tell somebody on this call to clap, they know what they want to do. But I now say kalapalaplate, they'll be like, is this one okay? Sure, you get. So it's the same thing here as well. So we have many tags. So this is an example of tag. This is a paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. Now all these tags, they are very easy to know. They are usually shortened from the actual word. So like paragraph starts with P, and then we just remove the first P and use it as the name of the tag. Paragraph. So once I see this, once the browser see this, it automatically knows that, okay, what I want to show here is a paragraph. So we can also have another one, say BR. Now this BR is called break rule. So it's called break rule. Let me see the suggestion here. Okay, so what it does is it will break the line and move to the next line, just like I enter this enter return button on Mac. So enter on Windows. If I enter this now, it's just move to the next line and continue whatever it is there. Do you get? So another one is when we have B. This one is saying bold. Yeah. See, so it gives me a suggestion the other time, bold. Now you must understand that we have our tags must have a beginning and and ending. Everything in this life has a beginning and an ending, except God. If you believe in God, you have to believe in God. All right, so we have paragraph, breakthrough, we have so many. Now, there must be a beginning and an ending. Now, this beginning is where we are telling that, okay, this is where you want to start from, and the closing is where we are saying, okay, this is where you stop. Now, we understand that. So I'll just put a word here, say, brave, and this one should just be like bold. Okay, let me put this bold text. I am a paragraph. Now we have different types of tags. So we have one and say open and close tag. If you can see me, just say a word. Somebody say a word.
We can hear you.
All right, thank you. Now this open and close tag, they are tags that they have opening and they have ending, just like the paragraph. I don't know. Do you have any question before we proceed? Any question at all?
We are understanding this.
Okay. So I need someone to mention in the group that the class is still ongoing and they can still join. So I'll just wait for 15 seconds so we proceed. All right, let's proceed. So we have the opening and closing tag. Now, how do you differentiate between an opening tag and a closing tag? So an opening tag will start with lesser than the tag itself. That's the name of the tag. Then we are going to have um, a greater than sign, just like we have here. Then we are now going to have, that's the opening tag. Then the closing tag will start with this as well, a lesser than, but it would not have this forward slash. Then the tag itself. So we must have the name of the tag. We are saying we are opening P here. We must also close P here. This forward slash before P means the closing of P. Do you get closing of P? This one means the opening of P, and this one means the closing of P. So I can add anything here. I can add Suraju is a good man. Above me a Pepsi drink or something. So that is opening and close tag. We also have void tag. Some people call it self-closing tag. Both are correct. So this self-closing tag, this one, they are very straightforward. They they don't have an ending, they don't have a beginning. They just want to do one task. Pam, do it, and they stop it. They just want to do one task and they stop. So example is this BR that we have here, break rule. So what this one does is that it's how do you know the difference between this and this? Now this void tag, you would see that it doesn't have a closing tag. You cannot do something like this. This is very wrong. So since it is self closing, so you have to put it after the tag itself, just like this. You put it after the tag itself. itself. So another example is img for image. Now, this one is just performing a single task. I just want to display an image. You don't have to have the beginning and the end for that image. I just want to display an image. No need to have like, okay, beginning and ending. But this one now that I'm adding text or I'm adding something in it, I just have to have the beginning and the ending. Now, in this element is a combination of tags and values, like the content in the tag, just like we have this guy here. This is a complete element. Let me remove this guy so you have a good understanding. You'll be able to differentiate both. Now, an element contains the tag itself and the content or the value of the tag. Now, we also have attributes. Attributes are properties, things that you can use to modify or describe something. Like now, I can use your height to describe you. If I see someone that is tall, I can say, oh, this guy is tall. If I see someone that is handsome, I can say, oh, this guy is handsome. I can say, okay, your skin is, sorry, no racism intention. So I can say your skin is dark, you are black. Your skin is white, you are white. And then I can say your height is 8 feet, you are extremely tall. Your height is 4 feet, you are short. Like that, like that. So here too, we can add attributes for our tags, and you can call it elements too, since it has all of this value. So for example, a paragraph, you can give it a class. Say title. You can give it a title. Okay, let me not use title itself. You can also give it a style. What else can we give it? So a lot of things like this. So like you can see all of these things. Can give it, I don't think there's something be okay. Context menu, yeah, content editable, yes, can give it this as well. So let's just focus on those two for now for this paragraph. Hello. Then you can also give it another one we will call okay, let's use another item rather. Okay, let me use a void tag. Let's use an mg. Then you can set the source src dot com slash a dot png, just on Gibberish. Can see the width to be 3 and the height. All of these things are just I will not call it rubbish. They are just things we are just using to experiment. So now if you look at all of these things here, you see okay, we are just saying okay, we want you to be tall by just 4 pixels. We want it to be white by just 3 pixels, and then this is where you want to go and pick your image from. So we just keep it very simple, like all these attributes, they just tell us how, or they tell the browser how the item should be displayed, or what are the properties you want to make changes to regarding the item. So do we all understand? Any questions so far before we proceed? Okay, if you do not have question, please just do thumbs up. Okay. All right. So I guess no question.
So, okay.
Yeah, please go ahead, boss.
Please, this content
The table. What does it mean?
Okay, yeah, content editable. So what it means is,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, content editable. So what it means is that this item here that we are seeing here, do we want users to be able to edit it? Let me just run it so we have a good understanding. Okay, I think this is it. So as you can see, I can edit the content. So that's what it just means. So we have a lot of attributes. We have many other attributes. So all of these attributes, most of them, you would not know everything. I don't know all the attributes, but when you need it, you would know it. When you want to perform operation, you're like, okay, how do I do this thing? Then you can just go online and search, how do I do blah, blah, blah. You're going to see it. Okay, any other question before I proceed? All right, so I guess don't have any questions. Okay, let me add one other thing. Then we proceed. Now we have comments. Now comments are things that the browser would not display. It will not display it. They are just meant for the developer. So they serve as reference. So like you are trying to explain what you did somewhere, why you did it. And if anybody else wants to work on it, they'll know that okay, this thing where this guy puts here, I know if you touch am. Or okay, so if I want to edit it, okay, this is what I will do. And it can help you to yourself. Because if you build a website now, say in the next 2 months or 3 months, if you did not touch it, you are working on other projects, you will first of all look at it like, what is happening here? So that's why it's always good to write code in a very seamless way. You have to make sure everything are well aligned so that you will not get confused later on. All right, so I'll just take an example of comments. So comments, that was a mistake. Okay, so this is what comment starts with. Just like we have this lesser than, then you have exclamation sign and this double hyphens. So it must be double. So sometimes it's always good to make mistakes. So by making mistakes, you learn more. So will it work like this? Okay, will it work like this? Sure, you understand. But if you did not stop it, it will continue. So that's why it's always good to stop things. Like we can say this is like the closing tag for the comments. So if you do not close it here and you want to continue writing your code, it will not work. You just see that your code is not displaying. It has seen it as a comment. So that's one of the advantages of using Visual Studio Code. You would see what is wrong. Now, if I I still want to write comments and this is here, I'll be like, why is it not color green? It's a comment now. Or let's say I did not close the comment and I want to write another paragraph tag. I'll be like, why is it color green? Well, paragraph is blue here now. So it will just give me like a good understanding. All right, so what comments is used for, just like I mentioned, is just for you to know that, okay, this is what I did here and this is why I did it here. 90% of the time, you might not even need to write comments. If you write your code properly, you don't need comments. At least 90% of the time. But there are some cases that you just have to put in there that, okay, yes, this is why I did this. This is what I'm doing here. So let's just proceed and start with the building block of HTML. So I'll make all of these comments. It did not work. Okay. All right. So then after you've declared this document type as HTML, now you wonder why we are declaring document type as HTML when we already said it's .html. So this is one of the addition of HTML5. HTML started from 1 and the current version is version 5. So just for the browser to know that, okay, yes, I'm dealing with HTML. Because browsers now can do more than just more than just websites. You can load other things like a PDF file an image and all other things on your browser. So you need to tell it, okay, yes, I'm dealing with HTML. Even if you don't tell it, it should work, but it's very essential. It should help you with SEO and other things. Then the next thing we need to add is this HTML tag. Now this HTML tag will have a closing. You have to close it out, sorry. So there's an error here, which you might have noticed. You would know that, okay, there's an error somewhere because this guy ought to be a blue, because the starting itself is blue, but why is this one red? So that is because I do not have this greater than sign here. So just like we mentioned, we have opening tag and closing tag. We have this opening tag and this closing tag. This is the opening tag of HTML. This is the closing tag. Now if we now want to add items inside it, if we can nest our HTML. So let's add another item here. Say add. Let's add another item here. Body. I would explain the concept of each. Now, a website just seems like you're writing a letter. Please let me find this extension and hide it for now. I cannot even know. I don't think I'll know the extension that is doing that. I really wish I know. Little bit extensions will be doing it. Please let's just proceed. I will do that maybe after this class. So the next class will not have that auto completion suggestion. Now we have this body as well. Then now you can see your website as a letter. When you want to write a letter, you are going to have heading, the parts where you have addresses and all this, like sender address, receiver address. So you can see those addresses as the item in the head. So what it means is, the address and all of those things you add before the main content, they are not what the user wants to read. They are not what the receiver of the letter wants to read. Actually, they are not the main content. They just add like a meta, a description for you to know, okay, this message is coming from Mr. So person. So see it as this head as well. Now this body is where the actual content is, where we want to write our website, where the user will see the website. Though the head sometimes affects what is in the body. When we get there, we are going to explain it much more better. So let's put items in this body. So I can put a paragraph, say I am happy today. Can put another paragraph, say I will be happy tomorrow. I will be happier tomorrow. Another paragraph, say Chelsea won yesterday. We can write it as long as we want, but this is bad coding style. Now if you are writing on a single line and you're just jam packing everything, it will be very difficult for you to trace it. You will not know easily what is working for what, which is which. Now for example, now look at this paragraph that started I am happy. You would now, let's say the content is long, it will take you a very long time to know where it ends, and you might, maybe when you are just scrolling through, you might not even see this guy at all and come and think this is the closing tag, or this is the closing tag for that paragraph. Meanwhile this one is just the closing tag for the other guy, for this one. So you need to now break them into lines. You come here, and then let's take the next one here, and this is the last one here, and this body. Now do we understand that that one is very straightforward, right? Now when I save, I have an extension that is doing auto alignment for me, that is making it pretty, which is cool. But then now we need to now discuss indentation. What indentation is. Now indentation means there should be space between parents and children. This body, this paragraph is inside this body. It's not bad. It is called nested tags. A tag inside another tag is called nested tag. You can have multiple tags inside another tag. It's still nested. You can have a tag inside a tag, have another tag inside that one, just like onions. You know, when you're cutting onions, you meet another onion, you meet another onion. So those things are called nested tag. Just like we have nests that intertwine each other. All right, so we have this. Now this body here, this is the indentation. This body starts here and ends here, as you can see. The beginning of body and the ending of body are on the same line. The same thing for this HTML. So the beginning and the ending are on the same line. This paragraph as well, the beginning and the ending are on the same line. But if you want to have a child in anyone, say I have this div and I want to put a child in it, say I want to have a paragraph. I am happy. Now you cannot, this paragraph should not be on the same level as this div. I hope you understand that. The paragraph should not be on the same level as this div. We have to give it a space. So it's, you use tab mostly, so you just give it a tab so that it moves. It gives a space between, or a space from the beginning of the parent to itself. So we call it indentation. So this paragraph itself can even accept another paragraph. Just for an example. So you see that we leave a space between this paragraph because this is the parent of this one. I hope you understand. Any questions so far? All right, so let's proceed. Now, since we understand indentation, which is great, so now this guy here, we now have another item inside it. Let's just call it title. Let's add title first. So this title is what shows in the URL tab here. Instead of having the name of this file here, instead of having the name of the file, we put title. So that title will easily let user of the website know that, okay, this is what is happening here. For example, as I see this guy here, download Visual Studio Code, I know that, okay, I want to use this page to download the Visual Studio Code. As I see this on Portfolio UI Web and Mobile, okay, I know that, okay, what is inside this page is Portfolio for UI, Web, Unicom, Web and Mobile. The same thing for all of these things so as well. Now let's correct this. Let's call this Cody December 1. So I will just refresh. So as you can see, the title has changed. We have Cody December 1. See, it's kind of, it gives a good description of what the page is. So you know that, okay, this page is this. Now, remember I mentioned that what we have in this head are not the things that would be displayed. You understand? So what will be displayed actually are the things that are in the body. Now we've added item in the head, but we cannot see it in this part. So you see the head as, let's use a normal human as well. This head, if you are speaking, people will not see what you are. They will not. How do I put it? It's not from your head that you are. It's from your head that you are thinking of what you are speaking. but people are not seeing your head as what you are speaking. Like, is that the content? um I'm trying to put it together, but that analogy is not working. But just see this head, like this everybody's head, is what determines what we want to say. Actually, in some ways, what is in your head, what is in your brain will determine how you express yourself as well. So you might not have a good body language, but you might have content in your head and you are speaking and you are flowing well. I think that goes. So this head, it affects a lot of things. It can, with this head, you can have, it can affect content in your, in this body as well. Later on we are going to get there. Now let's add something in the body. So I'm just going to start with an heading. So let's say, yeah, let's just call it December 1 as well. So this guy here, we call it heading. So we have 6 different types of heading. So we just proceed with this. I think so now we have this heading. We have 6 types of heading. So in school, then maybe secondary school, when we are writing notes, we used to have heading, subheading, and any other type of heading. So let's add another heading.
It's 6 o'clock.
Say happy December or something. Then let's add H3. Be happy. Then let's add H4. Always happy. Now let's add H5. So I feel good. I feel good. Now let's add H6. I will be better. Okay, now before we go, I'll just explain these things. So this H1 is an heading. Heading are dark and they are bold. So we have from H1 to H6. Now the higher the number, the lower the size. H1 is the biggest or the largest, then followed by H2, followed by H3, down to H6. H6 is the smallest of all the headings. Now just refresh so you can see. So as you can see, this H1 is the largest, followed by this, then goes on like that till it gets to H6. I think this is straightforward, right? Now we can also have other things like paragraphs. So I have a paragraph. Okay, so this paragraph should have something meaningful. Today is, or let me just use this lorem. Now if you refresh, now you see, so we have paragraph. So let's add another paragraph so I can explain something. Not a lorem ipsum. So if you refresh, so what you will notice is that paragraph automatically leaves space between itself, the previous object, and the next object, or the previous element and the next element. This guy here, lorem ipsum end here, but there is a space here. Now this is another paragraph. If I add any other thing, there will be another space here. So let me just add something very simple. Say let me use a div. Great. If I refresh, so you can, as you can see, the paragraph automatically leaves space between itself and the next object. There is a space here before this. There's a space here before this. I hope you understand. So we have div as well too. What div does is just used for division. So it's a block tag. We'll get to that later on. So we have 2 types of positioning tags. We have block and inline. So div is a block. What block means, it's once it is done, it moves the next item to the next line. So example is this paragraph itself. Once this guy is displayed here, any item that comes next will move to the next line. But paragraph will give a space before moving to the next line. Div does not. Let's see this. You see, paragraph leaves a space before the next item. The space here, I think I should just zoom this. So paragraph leaves a space here, but div does not. So I think that one is straightforward. So let's build a simple thing. So what we're going to build is something very simple. You can see it as a resume, a very simple resume that talks about yourself and maybe your professional summary, all of those things. All right, so the first thing I would want to add is, I think I can, let's just go online and see basic resume example. All right, so yeah, I think this one works. Let me see if I can see a better one. Nah, nothing can. This is not what I saw. Well, let's use this. Let me see if I can copy the image. Yeah, can. Okay. So later on, this will be our first assignment. But I'll just do a little bit. Just do a little thing there, then we'll complete it ourselves. Okay, so apart from these tags here that we have a good understanding of, so we can make things bold, we can give them underline, we can make them italicized and things like that. So let's say in this paragraph, this lorem ipsum itself, this lorem ipsum dollar, I want to make it bold. Now I'll start with the old way. This is the old way, bold. If I refresh, so I'll see this guy is bold now. It's very straightforward. B for bold. Please let me install that live server now so that I don't have to refresh all the time. So this is how you install packages as well. Just select the package and you see installing. By the way, this is the first time I'll be using live server. I really do not use it. So it's not a must you use this yourself, but I think it's cool to use. All this one that I was doing, I'm refreshing all of those things. I would not need to do them. Do it again. So from your guy here, you can just come here. You see go live. Just down here. We click on it. Then it's open your website for you. So if I make any updates, say I make this one underline. So it is done automatically. I don't need to refresh again. Okay, so one other thing that I would want to explain is this bold, we can use B. For this one as well, let's make it italicized. We can use I. So you see that it is very easy. I for italicized, U for underline, B for bold. The first letter of the word, very straightforward. So this is it is italicized here, very straightforward. Now, there's a mistake that you need to avoid is forgetting to close this tag. Now, you know, you just want this presentium to be italicized, but you forgot to close this I. You see, it will affect everything. Everything after it will be italicized. So you have to make sure that you are intentionally closing the tags. You have to close the tags. If you make a mistake, it will affect your project or your web page entirely. All right, so we have this now, so it's cool back. Now, this bold tag italicized using I U for umbrella, and U for underline. Sorry, they are old ways of doing these things. They are obsolete. You can still do it. Your browser would understand it, but you should not do it because you can still do it. You should not do something wrong because you can do it or because it works for you. So instead of bold, we use strong. strong. It is still very easy. Strong. Something should be strong. It is bold. Then instead of italize, we use em. Em is emphasis. So instead of you umbrella, okay, let's leave this one for now because we are not meant to use HTML for all of those things. But let's just leave this for the as you. That's just for the meantime. So we have this here now, very straightforward. So another thing that I should mention is one final thing before we go and do um, our task. So we call this one anchor tag, href. A tag is an anchor tag. This is just used to create link. You want to link for you want your user to click a button and it takes them to another page. That is what href is. Just like here, let me use this. So if I click on this guy, let's say I click on this guy, it opens another page. That is what called href. So with that href, you can tell it where you want it to go. So I'll just use this for example. I want it to go to this website. Then the text that user would see in between, that the user will see, say, okay, let me use this guy. You see, they said written by Mary Morgan, whatever. This name of this person must be inside our anchor tag. Now, this href is an attribute, right? So let's put this text that we want users to see. Simple resume example. Href itself is an attribute. It will be inside the opening tag. But this simple resume example now makes it an element, just like I mentioned earlier. So if I go back to that site, our site, and I click on this simple resume example, that's the text that we put inside. As you can see, that's the text that we put inside here. Simple resume example. So that's why if I click on this simple resume example, it opens that website for us. All right, so we can just go back. Now this is what we are going to build. Should we build it here now, or it should be given as an assignment? What do you guys think? Okay, if you want it to be built on this call, thumbs up. One thumb up per person. Okay, nobody wants it to be built on this site, I would assume. On this call rather.
Yes,
Okay, so we want it to be our assignment.
most likely. Yes.
Okay, if you want it to be your assignment, thumbs up. Okay, I have one person, 2, 3. All right, thank you. So it will be an assignment. Okay, it's very straightforward. So what we are just going to do, just on the surface, we are going to have an heading here, paragraph here. These two can be in a div because they are now that div. What we actually use div to do is to pack related things together. Because this guy here and this guy, they are related, you can put them in the same div. This one here and this one's here, they are related, you can put them in the same div. Just like this too, you can have them in the same div. This one down here can be in the same div, while each item in it can be a div on its own as well. All right, so I will send this image in a group chat so we can go ahead with the assignments. So that will be, I think that will be all for today in the class. Is there anyone that has any question or any kind of contribution at all? Please shoot. Okay, no question. All right, thank you. Okay, okay, yeah, please go ahead, Abdusalam.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, so sorry. I just got off work, so I joined late. So I know you already mentioned the class is recorded and it will be dropped. So what I want to know is if there is a question, can I just possibly enter the DM at any time to ask questions?
All right, thank you for that question. If you have any question, please feel free to ask in the group chat, unless it is very personal. The reason I would want you to ask in the group chat is for other people to learn. You understand? So if it is something personal, you can ask in the DM. But if it's regarding this course and maybe you are trying to do something and you're not getting it, just ask in the group chat. Yeah. Is that all from you, Absalam? Yeah, empty. Go ahead.
Okay, my question is if we want to like make the words be in center, most of the things we do now, they're on the left side. And that assignment, and some of them is going to be in the middle, like this taking on challenging stuff. Like how are we going to do that? So it's going to be in the middle like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a valid question. So for now, just place them below each other. So when we get there, we'll be able to do that one. So that's the work of CSS actually. Do you get?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome. Any other question?
No, no, that's all. That's all.
Okay. From anyone, any question, any form of contribution. Okay, so there's one thing that I would want us to do before the next class, right? So every assignment, I want to make sure that we are doing the assignments just like I mentioned. This is the only way we would learn and improve. I know that not everybody has a PC, a computer, but then most of us we started on phones. There are people on Discord that they know my story very well, and we were able to move on. So even if you have a phone, there are apps that you can install on your phone that you'll be able to build. Though it might not be easy, but you would learn and then you would keep learning till you get your own PC. So apart from that, I would want us to have someone that will be. Do you have a question? Empty. Your hand is up.
Okay, okay. How can I off this? Okay.
Okay. So we would want somebody that will be in charge of the class, in sense that the person that will take us collect assignments, the person that will be in charge of reminding everybody, because not everybody is very active like that. I don't know if someone on this call would want to take that role. I'll be very grateful. If you want to take that role, you can just send a thumbs up. Okay, we have two people interested in the role. Just a moment, please. I don't want to stop this.